Alrighty, let's get to it. This is one of those just random topics for me because I just randomly came across it because of this Lauren Chen. And it just goes to show how society has just so badly. I mean, we're talking 14-year-old drama and interests are apparently something that you want to selectively become outraged about now. Because it used to be two separate categories: teenager crap and adult crap. And the only people that cared about teenager crap, teenager interest, teenager drama, teenager attention-seeking behavior crap was the teenagers, and the adults kind of all just shook their heads like, you kids are so stupid. You know, that sort of thing. But now, they're together. Now, teenager shit is something that adults flip their shit about. Let's go on.
Since her fan base is mostly young teenage girls, I thought it would be fitting to let a young teenage girl explain the controversy.
Let me summarize everything that's happened because I'm about to go to bed and I feel the need to get this off my chest and rant. Essentially, it started when she released the Lost Cause music video. In this music video, it shows a bunch of girls at a sleepover being quite sexual, and people were like, this is fetishizing of the woman-loving woman community, like this is queer baiting. And Billie didn't do anything about it. She didn't release a statement at all, but then she proceeds to post an Instagram post with the caption, I love girls. Personally, I immediately felt that this was like messed up and it was queer baiting, but so many people were saying that it's fine, you're overreacting. I wasn't gonna argue with like her millions of fans. And then she proceeds to change her bio to Taken, and we find out who she's dating, and he turns out to be 10 years her senior. And we're kind of like, that's fucked up, but you do you. But then today we found out that he is homophobic and racist and has said the N-word and the F.
Yep, that's 14-year-old shit right there. That's literally stuff that only 14-year-olds should be trivializing and making into a big deal. Literally. That is the most petty bullshit kind of thing to be invested in, emotionally or otherwise. That is literally as teenager cringe as it gets. That is literally nothing that an adult should even concern themselves with. Like, just listening to that made me just shake my head and wonder why teenagers even care about these stupid things. But yeah, that is literally the logic of a 14-year-old teenage female. And to think there are grown adults that are so emotionally invested or just invested in general in this that they too are hyper-analyzing this and looking so deep into everything this celebrity does, Billie Eilish does, and getting upset about it. Like, it literally puts them in such a bad mood that it ruins their day, and it makes their emotionality be vitriolic, right? And it's saddening because it just shows further degeneration of the world in a nutshell. This is the immaturity that we are reaching as adult species, where 14-year-old crap becomes the interests and the investment of adults. Apparently these so-called adults never actually grew up, and they're still in the mind frame and mentality of a teenager. And that's all there is to that. And who the hell selectively gets outraged by these stupid, irrelevant things? Like, this is such a niche thing. A very particular, thing to get upset about and outraged about. So, basically, to sum it up, these females and these adults hyperanalyze every little thing that celebrities do. And by the way, those who are so worshipy of celebrities have a lower cognitive ability than those who do not, by the way. In other words, I'm saying scientifically speaking, science basically is saying that celebrity worshippers and people who are super invested in celebrities, whether it be one or many celebrities, are more stupid than those who are not. Yeah. So that has a lot to do with it too, I'm sure. Basically, you know, the more stupid you are, the more likely you are to care about these irrelevant things that are irrelevant to one's life, and selectively get outraged by these very niche things and so on and so forth. But anyway, what they're doing is they're hyper-analyzing these things and nitpicking certain little things and then blowing it out of proportion. And then making up words like queer baiting. I didn't even know that was a fucking word until Lauren Chen here said it, and then the 14-year-old said it as well. I didn't even know that word existed, because there is literally whole ass of like dictionaries out there of this made up language and made up words because of I don't know what to even call it, but it's just made up language, right? Like queer baiting? No, that's no. Such a made up word and made up definition. But what can you expect out of idiotic humans? They gotta seem like they're smart in one way or the other, I guess. Just making up words to make up words, I guess, so they can be outraged. So yeah. They overanalyze, they overly invest themselves, and they basically become tinfoiled conspiracy theorists. And then, after they got all pissy over that, apparently she got a boyfriend, and he's older than her. Big whoop. That happens all the time around the world. And apparently 10 years prior to them, he was young and dumb and said stupid things, like literally any young and dumb person did. They just so happen to be words that are associated with, I guess, racism and whatever. And no one's perfect, you know, and I'm pretty sure I said some stupid things when I was very, very young too. Like, even 10 years ago, I'd probably look back and be like, why did I say that? But anyway, main point being, to try to use what someone said on fucking Twitter of all things against them from 10 years ago and hold them accountable 10 years later to that is retarded. That is literally 14-year-old logic. Like, they're so naive and ignorant to the world that they don't realize how the real world works, and this is just yet another example of it. You know, they actually think something that they said in a simple tweet 10 years ago is relevant to now. Do you know how much changes within 10 years? Like, for example, that 14-year-old girl. In 10 years, you went from 4 years old and very little and small to being a teenager. Am I supposed to go back and find something that you did when you were 4 years old and then hold you accountable as a teenager right in this moment and be like, you're a shitty person because you did that when you were 4 years old? No, I shouldn't. Well, that's what you're doing. Regardless of the age, 10 years is 10 fucking years. Get a grip on reality. Holy shit. What is wrong with you people?
Alright, so if you didn't really understand that, I shall also elaborate. Recently, Billie Eilish released a music video for her song Lost Cause, and it kind of just features her dancing around with some female friends in, you know, the typical teenagery way that teens do. I don't know. Because the video does feature exclusively females and they're kind of almost dancing flirtily with each other, some people believe that this was Billie Eilish almost coming out. And this obsession the younger generation has with trying to figure out whether mainstream celebrities are queer or LGBT or not is something we've talked about before in regard to Taylor Swift. There's this whole fandom conspiracy that Taylor Swift is also secretly gay. And I want to make it clear that speculating over celebrities' sexualities is nothing new because, I mean, you know, we're nosy, we're people, we gossip, but this particular fascination that occurs among the younger crowd, I think is kind of different because we're not just wondering whether Billie Eilish is into girls in the same way that people used to wonder, and frankly still do, whether John Travolta is into guys, because Gen Z and the woke left have almost made sexualities into personality types and this kind of club. It's almost like a bunch of Freemasons trying to figure out whether someone else is also a Freemason, or like spotting Illuminati places. That's what it is like for these people. That's why they try to read all of these little clues and subtext into everything these celebrities do.